Welcome to another episode of Customer Success Talks Real Challenges, Experts Advice, the podcast dedicated to helping those transitioning into customer success and early career customer success managers. I'm your host, Byron Toruño, a customer success nerd, a customer success manager as well. And just like you, I'm not stopping. I'm still learning about this amazing world of customer success. And today is not the exception. Today, we will talk about surveys. We will talk about that polemic side of should we actually implement survey? Should we actually use those NPS, CSAT scores? Should we actually believe on them? And today we have an expert on that field, someone who actually uses surveys on a quarter basis. And now even there's a structure behind it. So it will be super interesting to hear what our guest is going to say today. And reality is that no business can survive without feedback. Like customer success, we sit on a grill, we sit on top of gold. We have the opportunity to listen to our customers, bring that voice, that feedback into the company, and from there, spread the customer's voice. So we are those who also bring that face of the customer into the organization. And that's why feedback is so important. But one channel of collecting feedback is also through surveys. And that's why today we have with us Myriam Hirt, who was born in Germany, studied in the US, and now is living in Chile with over 7 years of experience as head of customer success, who started a CS team from scratch. And also, her team is managing customers across North America, Europe, and also Australia. Amazing. Myriam, welcome to Customer Success Talks.
Hey, Byron, thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm so happy that we finally made it, right? So that's really good. And I'm happy that you invited me to talk about surveys today. And you already introduced me very well. So I'm over 7 years in customer success. It's my baby because I created that department from scratch. Yeah. And now leading a team now with more than 3 people together here at Advendio. And of course, we cannot live without feedback from customers. And that also brings me back to surveys. Yeah. And what do we do here at Advendio? We started, I think, over 3 years ago with NPS surveys. Yeah, it has been a bumpy road. Yeah, so with first implementing it and then where we are today has been with some ups and downs. So as you already said, Byron, customer success, you're always learning. Every single day brings you more experience in whatever field you are working with. Same with surveys. Yeah, so right now we still do NPS and also our support team does CSAT. Yeah, to give you some brief information but at the moment, I still do have like a love and hate relationship with NPS, right? And I think if I read through like the community at Customer Success, I think that's a very common feeling. I don't think that I'm alone in that scenario when I read about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone. And that's why it's so interesting to hear your perspective because you are literally using it and there have been some improvements within these years of using it. I'm pretty sure there has been some areas where you have messed up, others where you have learned, and other ones where are still improvement. But let's see, I have a question. I have many
Sure.
questions, actually.
Okay, that's even better.
Let's start with the basics. Myriam, why do you feel that customer feedback is important?
So, customer feedback is, I think, like the backbone of a company. Yeah. So you want to grow and you want to know how your product is being perceived, how your service is being perceived, how you do as a customer success manager, or even someone who works in the support portal. Whatever your relationship with the customer is, you want to know: are they happy with it? Can something be improved? Yeah. And then based on that, you can improve the company's overall return on investment, right? So I think that's why it is important that everyone takes the time to have different instances, whether they are NPS survey or CSAT or having one-on-ones with them. Is important to cluster good feedback. Well, good, I mean that you have valuable feedback. The feedback can also be negative, right? But with this, you can then have tangible actions afterwards and can make the relationship better and also the value from your company to the client.
Absolutely. I think that with feedback, as you said, is about having that feedback and put it into the product, because at the end, without it, we will just implement things that we think
Yeah.
are actually something that the customer is going to use, but then that would not be actually like a customer centric approach.
Mm-hmm.
It might be more a product led, where we implement what we think. But what about if we actually implement what the customer or the customers will need? Because there's a lot of effort, right, behind implementing
Mm-hmm.
different features. And if they're not implemented as what the customer actually needs, it's going to be a mess.
Sure, exactly. So I think it's two ways. It's not only about only the product, of course, this is what they buy from you, but they also buy a certain amount of service from you. Yeah. So this way you can grow in different aspects. Let's say they rate the way they have been treated from us in a negative way. That's also something very important because that's the feeling that you get from from your company. Yeah. So if that has been rated in a negative way, then that we need to take also very seriously and need to see what can be improved in that way. Then also, as you already said, from a product perspective. So I think the roadmap needs to have two ways, right? You want to be a leader, maybe you want to be innovative, but at the same time, it needs to be usable. Yeah. So if my product goes beyond or is not what is actually easy to use, or the UI doesn't look so good anymore, this is feedback that we then need from our customers. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that it's also important to give different channels, make it easy for them, makes it accessible for them, not making it like a homework. And I think that being here and talking after many episodes, it sounds easy to say things, but as I sit down, right, as after recording or before recording, and I do my work, I know that there's a lot behind it when we actually,
Mm-hmm.
right? But having the possibility to provide different channels for our customers to make it easy for them to come to us with the feedback is key. And we recorded an episode with Andrew Marth, the co-founder of Success Hacker, about
Okay.
in the power of voice of the customer. And that's a framework that we can also use as an organization. But today we will be focusing on surveys. And you said
Mm-hmm.
before, you have a love-hate relation with surveys. So
Yes.
which team are you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the middle, as I find it very interesting what you just said, the voice of the customer program, because I feel like NPS and CSAT are one important part of it. Yeah, so here, as you already said, I've been redoing some ways how we can improve NPS in our company over the last months. And I've been encountering one person, Boar. Yeah, I might be pronouncing his name wrong. Yeah, but he's my NPS guru. Yeah, and he also said NPS is only good if it's one part of the voice of your customer program. Yeah, if you only leave it there, only with NPS, that's not going to be enough. Yeah, so you need to have different instances asking the right question to the right person in the right moment. Yeah. So if I'm asking an admin a question that is dedicated to the decision maker, I would not get anything back, and vice versa. Yeah. So they have different feelings and they have different needs and different goals. So you really need to have open-ended or open questions, right? But dedicated to the user group that you're working with as well.
Wow. So yeah, we can have NPAs and we can have the best structure, but what you're saying is that if there's not a work after the feedback comes in, then it's gonna be not working.
Useless. it's useless. Yeah. So let's say, Byron, you are my customer. Yeah. And we do NPS, let's say quarterly, half yearly, once per year. The times that you do that can vary very differently from the company, maybe the company size also. But let's say you take the time, you are a cherished customer of mine, you take the time to fill it in, and then in the open question part, you really give feedback. And let's say it's negative feedback. Hey, I don't like, I'm not saying I love negative feedback, but this is the feedback that we can learn from. Yeah. But let's say, Byron, afterwards, a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, you don't see any improvement in that specific field, and no one has ever reached out to you in that time frame. And then our next NPS survey comes around the corner. Would you be willing to respond again?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
So
sure
I think,
I have received.
yeah,
Pretty sure they customer receive so many surveys as well.
exactly. So whatever is in that feedback section, I think that is where the truth lies. And this is where we have to take actions as a customer success manager. Yeah. Or whoever is taking care of that survey. Yeah. This is where you need to really read through, okay, what does this customer want to say us? Is it a product problem? Is it a service problem? Is it an overall problem? Do they have learning problems because they never really got to see the return on investment? Yeah. Is it a management problem? And then based on that, you really need to reach out to that customer with maybe with a one-on-one conversation. Or let's say you give me a negative number, but you don't say anything. Also, pick up the phone. Always picking up the phone. Hey, Byron, I see you have been you responded to our survey, which I really appreciate. I see your feedback or your rating is negative. How can I help you to improve your experience with us? Don't be shy. With this negative feedback, you can only grow. I think that's where really where we can take tangible actions, whether on a product level, service level, whatever it is, and make things better and inform the customers also about it. Yeah.
Would you say this is the biggest challenge we face as customer success managers? The act on?
Yeah. I think it's really following up. First of all, making a plan out of it, and a plan that you can really fulfill. Yeah. I mean, like it's, oh yeah, we can do this and this and this. And then I propose it to a customer. And then in the end, it will never happen because it was just too much. Yeah. So you really have to maybe make a plan out of it. Hey, customer XYZ, I hear you. You know what? It's a bigger issue. I will not have it resolved in 1 month. Maybe not in 3 months, but here's our action plan, and I would love you to be part of it. Yeah. Would you even be able to test it with me so that they feel like I'm taking you serious? I will not have a solution from one day to another, but I make you part of the solution. Yeah. So I think that's very important.
What do you mean with the plan? Like how is a plan looking like when it comes to structure?
Let's say it's really a bigger issue. Yeah, that involves, let's say, on a product level, and a redo of a feature which is not done from one day to another. Yeah, and maybe they can be part of testing it in the beta version, for example. Like, hey, this is our plan. Can you test it for us? Does this now fulfill your requirements? Yeah, because if you then want to deliver quality, you don't want to just bring it from one day to another there. And also, let's face reality, you probably have already an ongoing roadmap that you also have to fulfill still. Yeah. So we also have to be very reliable with timings that we give. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even it is a burning topic, but I feel like I rather say it will be taking a little longer, but it will be there for you. Yeah.
So you're in this plan, you're also making the customer being part of it. They are part
Hmm.
of the idea.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In those 3 years of implementing, in this case, NPS, if we focus on NPS itself,
Hmm.
and if I, as an individual collaborator today, I want to start implementing an NPS in a company that they don't use it yet, what will be the steps to follow?
So, yeah, we started with having NPS surveys quarterly. But we are a smaller company. And I think that was an overkill. Yeah, that was just too much. In the beginning, we had good response rates, and then you can see over the time it just went down. Yeah. And here's also why. Because we're such a small company, sometimes between one quarter and another, not so much will be happening, in improvements, etc. And then also there are times where our customers are also busy, or there are times where other customers are maybe on vacation for longer times. Let's say, for example, Europe in the summer. What's happening in Europe in the summer? Not much, right? Because many customers have longer vacations going on. So it's not a really good time to actually send out a survey, because it will be slipping through in the end. These are all factors that have an impact on your response rate in the end. Yeah. So you will, of course, you want to focus on what is in the comment section, but you also need to have a reliable response rate. Yeah. If only 2 customers are responding, is this then still a good response rate? I don't think so. Yeah, so you need to have like a certain amount of percentage to be able to be reliable. And that's what we had to improve at our company. So we went down with the survey rate. Yeah, so I think less is more. And even now we will implementing a new approach. Yeah. So yes, like I already said, I've been listening and reading a lot about what Boa has to say about NPS and how to make it more successful. And he actually is recommending doing it when a customer goes live. Yeah, right in that moment. And then, if I'm not totally mistaken, I think 4 or something between 4 and 9 weeks later. Yeah. And then each year, once per year. Yeah. So I think in the beginning, you get brutal feedback because the customer goes live right after implementation. Yeah. So here you can kind of maybe compare what do customers say when they just went live, what do customers say after a little time being live, and then once per year, right? And I think that's a good approach that we want to take on now. This is something new. This is something new that we're going to do or implementing this year in 2025. And of course, still enhancing also. So each customer success manager in my team has a customer base assigned, right? So we want to encourage them, please participate. Yeah. Because it's important for us to have your feedback there. Yeah. So yeah. That's what we have been learning like over the years. Yeah,
Right.
that's one part, like really having your instances selected. Yeah, to get the best success, and then the timings also. Yeah, so do your customers have a busy season? Yeah, let's say you're working maybe in the travel industry. Yeah, so probably in summer or around Christmas is a very busy time. So is it then really useful for sending out a survey? I don't think so. Yeah, so really like selecting the time that is appropriate. Yeah.
How do you knew when was the appropriate time? Because I know that and this is not a one person or one team work, right? This should be an organization where everyone brings their expertise and maybe their experience in the product and the customer.
Yeah.
Knowing who to send the surveys to and at what time, as per what you're saying, is crucial. So how do you analyze that on your end at the beginning? How do you knew time to actually send it?
So we in the Vendio, we clustered our customers. Yeah. So our customers with let's say we have one customer. I would say it's Toronto GmbH. Let's say, yeah, you're our customer, and then I have clustered you in different user groups. Yeah. So I look who's our admin, who is our product owner, who is our key business user, and then also the decision makers. So normally for the NPS survey, these four users would be getting the survey. Yeah. What time? Yeah. There are some times where it works better than others. Yeah. I think Tuesdays normally and Thursdays are good days to send out surveys. Yeah. There are even special hours. I would have to chat with my other customer success manager who's taking care of that. Yeah. But there is one specific time that works around the globe, actually. Yeah. So as we have globally customers, yeah. So that what then you can so then you have a good time for the North American companies, but also for Europe, and then we also work with APAC. Yeah, for example. Yeah.
Do you went big the first time, or did you started maybe with 10 customers? Mm,
Yeah, we started with only a few ones in the beginning. Yeah, so we also have them classified between the like A, B, and C customers. Yeah, so we started first because we had to selected them all the contacts in the system. Yeah, so we started lower. Yeah,
mm,
but then step by step we included more because I feel like every customer has really valuable feedback that they can give you.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting what you said also before when now that the new structure you want to implement, it's about like in I feel that it's more based on the customer journey. After
Mm-hmm.
onboarding ends, a couple of a period of time after the onboarding, and then on a year basis. So
Mm-hmm.
that's also really important. How do you vision that working?
I feel like it's going to be very valuable information based on the time where they then are located. Let's say just going live, maybe a couple of weeks being live, yeah, and then once per year. So I feel like that would be giving us good feedback about how implementations are going, yeah, and how much time do they like. Is there a difference between when they just went live and then hypercare is done? Yeah. So are there maybe some synergies that we can see? Yeah. And then once per year, I feel like it's not an overkill for like how many times they are spammed with surveys from us. Yeah. And it still gives them some time to have a moment to give feedback. Yeah. Because sometimes maybe you want to give feedback, but it's not like in a monthly meeting. They feel like, okay, this is the moment where I can give a different kind of feedback. Yeah. So I'm not talking directly to a person. I can just give my feedback in written. Yeah. I think there it will, I think it will be helping us to have a better response rate. Yeah.
Mhm. And I guess that it also helps within the team to have also more time to analyze feedback and process it. Because if we now move more into the internal operations, and one of the challenges I feel when implementing surveys and analyzing the customer
Mhm.
feedback is actually that it might be a lot, and analyzing that it's just too much. So how have your team handled this, and what advices would you give someone who's just starting to implement
Mhm.
this part?
So what we then normally do is that we, with this feedback, that say we started with our old approach when we did it like 3 times per year. Let's say we just had one, so we normally send out the invite and then we follow up twice. Yeah, like a week later, we still remind them the ones that haven't responded. Yeah, and then a week after that, we do it one more time, and then with this then we close the survey. Yeah, and then we analyze the feedback. So who responded? What is the feedback that they're given? Yeah. And which department is this touching? So we just try to cluster it. Yeah. Is it about support? Is it about the product? Is it about implementation? Is it about customer success? Or is it really directed only to management? Then we try to cluster this feedback. Yeah. And what could be some action items afterwards? And we present it internally to the team so that they know what has been given as feedback, good and bad. Yeah, and then together with the teams that are included, we try to see what actions can we take and in what time frame. And based on that, we try to get back to the customers one on ones, of course, but also in a bigger nutshell. Yeah, like, hey, customers, we appreciate you've been participating in our NPS survey. As a matter of fact, these were the three key points that have been mentioned by you. And based on that, we will do that, that, and that. So everyone is being contacted, even the one that weren't responding, but they see that there is something happening. Yeah. So maybe for next time they feel like, okay, you know what? There's something happening after the survey. So maybe next time I will be responding. Yeah. And I feel like with doing it now once per year, you even have better things to offer. Yeah, because then you can also show one more time, okay, this is what we wanted to do, and this is where we are already. So this is really, we already achieved the first thing, or the second thing is also already there, and the third thing is halfway through already. Yeah. So I think with this showing that not only there is a feedback section, but you really do something with it, might be enhancing the response rate in it. Yeah. And this is the best practices. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it always is working out, but this is what I think makes much more sense. And this is what my hope is in doing it less, but with more actions behind it.
Biniam, you are giving everyone a step by step to follow. That's amazing. And you know, there's a lot that we need to cover
Yeah.
on step, and we are trying to do our best to cover this, right? But
Mm-hmm.
everyone listening, you can literally go back a couple of minutes and re-listen this, and you can start taking notes into what to implement this week, because when it's about analyzing data, it's just not an easy. But I think that it's we have to start somewhere, and that's why the importance of starting small to
Mm-hmm.
improve based on that. But you also touch on cluster or segmentation. How do you do that? What is the process thought behind it, and how is that look in paper? Because it seems
Okay.
really important to cluster the customer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not only do you mean the customer feedback clustering,
Everything that
or
you
the okay, yeah. So we cluster two things. So we cluster the customer in like the different user types, yeah, like admins, etc. So we can also see, are decision makers responding more, yes or not, and if so, what can we do to make it more attractive to them? And then again, for key business users, and the same thing for product owners, and the same thing for admins, who are the ones that are responding more throughout the years. And why is it so? Is it because we have more contact with them as the ones that are not responding so many times, the ones that we don't are not so much in contact with? How can we tackle them? So you can then maybe invite them in a different way, or have a different touch point in between to make it more interesting for them. And then, like I said, the feedback also, it can be touching different departments, and it needs to be clustered down and discussed with those departments. Yeah. So if it's a product part, I cannot take any decision over the product team. Yeah. So we need to discuss it with them. They can give us their feedback, their insights also. Yeah. And then they can discuss what can be done or not, or what information do they need more from that customer. Yeah. So it can vary a lot. And that classification that we're doing, my team is doing this work. Yeah, so they're doing a great job there. Yeah, finding synergies, etc. And then we present it internally. Yeah, so with a great team, a lot of things are possible, right?
That's amazing. So, Miriam, and this is the importance of our roles as customer success
Mm-hmm.
managers, because we are the ones who have the feeling of how's the customer behaving. We have that feeling of um, how is this the right time for them to receive a survey? Who should receive it? Because we have that conversations on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
It could be customers from high touch, mid touch, and tech touch as well. But my question when I see this into three segments, it's about how to make this scalable. So I'm really curious to know how is that your team is working internally to make this scalable, because analyzing and sending all of this takes time, plus all of the other responsibilities that your team has. So how are you doing this in a scalable
I
way?
I think the beginning is tougher when you really start, when we started like clustering all the recipients, etc. in the beginning, bringing their user type, who's really the admin, who's really the product owner. That I think is the toughest job. But once you have that set up correctly, everything is going a little bit easier. Yeah. Then it's really a matter of having a good tool that you work with. Yeah. So the NPS survey tool that you work with, or if you can make it with a pop-up solution that we are still exploring at the moment. Yeah. Or if you work with an external tool, yeah, where you can do some, so we work, I don't know if you can say the name here. Yeah. But we
Please,
work
anything
with,
else?
yeah, we work with Survey Monkey at the moment. Yeah. And there you can, the message gets sent out, then automatically, then let's say if from 10 persons, 5 have already replied. So the next time it will only be sent to those 5 that haven't responded. So a good tool after you have done all the work with classifying the different user types is mandatory here. Yeah. And then you can extract all the data from there. Yeah. And then the next thing is really the feedback section that not only you, but the company then has to identify to which department that goes. Yeah, that's something that we do individually. But we sit together as a team and then we say, okay, this is for product. This is for customer success. This is for our consultant team. Yeah. And then we already have a standard presentation. So now each time you only have to change the information, of course.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then we go to the different teams and present it to them. Yeah. Because I think it's important that the feedback doesn't stay only within customer success. It really needs to be presented to the different teams. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it takes me to the next part of this conversation, which is when analyzing this feedback, are you including a whole team, or are you doing this automatically? And this is why I'm asking this. When I
Mm-hmm.
first implemented a voice of the customer framework in a company that was more product led, I felt back then that it was really important to actually sit down in a meeting room with all the teams and extract
Mm-hmm.
this dynamic into, okay, this is the feedback. This is, I hear the product team talking, I hear developers talking, and myself, marketing. And then it can evolve into a customer centric conversation, because now we are actually receiving the customer feedback versus other companies where everything is mainly automatic, where the
Mm-hmm.
feedback comes in, it stays in, let's say, Jira. There, someone pick it up, and then it moves to the next stage. But in your case, how are you actually literally doing this?
Yeah. So once we have finalized that presentation, at the same time, we're already getting back to some of the customers based on whatever they gave us as a feedback or as a rate. Yeah. So I think here, immediate a call, if someone gives you a 1, or if someone says nothing is working, you call them immediately. You don't even talk to any other departments. Yeah, you just call them immediately. But let's say everything goes okay. There's no major instance, but the feedback is good. That helps you to move forward. But you need feedback from other departments. So we normally go by department. So I have then one person from my team presenting it to the consultant team. So they go then in one of their weeklies or dailies, whatever they have as an instance, and they present it to them. And then they discuss whatever they give as a feedback. The same thing with product. Yeah, the same thing with our support. So we go and have only one meeting with one team. Yeah. And based on what comes back, yeah, then together with marketing, we normally give a feedback to the entire customer base. Yeah.
Mm.
And what was the major feedback and what are we going to do with it? Yeah. And hopefully at some point also updating what has been done already. Yeah. Let's say you can do some immediate enhancements. Yeah.
Everyone is involved. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like the customer, I mean, how many times do people think that customer success is only one department, but the success of a customer is depending on everyone, right? Everyone has to have this customer centric mindset. Yeah. It doesn't matter in which department you're working, what you do in your daily business has an impact on the outcome for the customer. Yeah.
And they will feel it.
Yes.
What best practices would you suggest when it comes to creating a survey?
Creating, I mean, like for NPS, it's quite clear. Yeah. So you can give the rate between 1 and 10. Yeah. So it's not much, not much more that you can add there. Yeah. And then you have the open question about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's not much more that you can do, and you shouldn't change it. Yeah. So because then it can give you a false feedback, etc. So I think the same is also counting for CSAT. Yeah, they follow a very structure. Let me phrase it this way. Yeah. So and they are short, they're simple, and I think that's what it makes it so attractive to customers or to people to apply to them, because they're short and simple. Yeah. Let's say you get I was just buying something on a retail page, and I got a survey back. So I responded, yes, I want to reply, but then I had like 25 questions. Do you want to reply to 25 questions? No,
No.
that's a lot, right? So having it short and simple and inform the customer how long it will take to respond to it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's probably the most important thing. And I think both CSATs and also um, NPS, they follow that structure. Yeah, you cannot solely make one decision based on it. Yeah, because surveys can be very influenced by different factors, right? But generally, a survey should be short and simple.
If you will have to give a number of questions, what would it be?
I think at the NPS, it's one question that you do at the end. Yeah, it's one. So in the beginning, you said how likely would you recommend us to a friend or a colleague? So then you can rate between, I think, 0 and 10, and then you have detractors, passives, and promoters. Yeah. And then the open question where you can give feedback, we say, I think it's what can we improve at Vendio or
Mm.
something like that. Yeah, and then they can give a feedback in there. Yeah, so we decided for improve, so they have to think about something that is not working as it should
Mm.
be for them. Yeah,
And it makes it about you and not about them. It makes it about
exactly.
the company. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, so that's why we wanted to have like that they think about, even if someone gives us a 10, think about something, even though you think everything is good, what could be improved? Yeah, because even someone who's a promoter today can be a passive or a detractor next time, depending on what's happening in their business. Yeah.
And how do you handle this? How do you reach back to the customer, or how do you proceed when it comes to a promoter, a neutral, and a distractor? How is there any workflows that you follow or your team?
Well, if you're a detractor and it's really bad, right away, like I said, pick up the phone. Yeah,
Mhm.
if there's a 0 or a 1, yeah, then we need to call right away. Yeah, and if there's nothing in that comment field, also just call and say like, "Hey, I see, I hear you. What can we do to make things better?" Who reaches out to whom depends on your customer base. Yeah, if that customer falls under your customer base, Byron, then you reach out to them. If it's my customer base, I will reach out to them. If you need, of course, enhancement tricks or some whatever you need from me as information, I will always provide that. What can we do here? Yeah, and of course the passive ones and the promoters as well. You need to follow up with them. Yeah, you need to thank them that they continue participating, and even the feedback that they were heard, and what we're going to do about this. Yeah.
Okay. And the promoters, it could be a good way to identify maybe potential speakers, maybe potential success stories, and
Exactly.
learning as well from them. What are they
Yeah.
good to pull the other ones?
Exactly. I'm having some marketing activities with them. Yeah. A nice case story with them, whatever can be together, what we can do. Yeah. So it's important that doesn't matter in where they are. You need to take that seriously and create some follow ups with them. Yeah.
Will you say that a framework to always keep in mind is acknowledge, investigate, act, and follow? Are we missing anything?
No, I think and give good timelines also. Yeah, I
Oh,
would say also. Yeah, I think giving good timelines. Yeah, so there's nothing I know, and I speak about experience, own experience. Sometimes you are in a conversation and you say, yeah, we can do it right away, blah blah blah. Yeah, and then in the end, it's like, oh yeah, but I don't think that we can really do it in that time frame. So there's nothing worse than getting back. I will not be able to do it in that time frame. So really, like, hey, let me check how soon we can do this and give a timeline that's doable. Yeah.
love
I
that.
think that's I think that's very important. Yeah, because beyond that, behind those customers, they also have to report to someone. Yeah, and give them feedback. When is this coming, or when not, or why isn't that coming? Yeah, so it doesn't stop with this person. Yeah, they have an entire team. They also have a manager. Yeah, so the more you are you be honest with them, I think the better.
Yes.
Yeah, and even if you see along the line, something is getting later as expected, because it can happen. Yeah. Also, before they actually reach out to you, you already go back to them like, hey, I know, Byron, you're waiting for that, and I promised you it's going to be done in 2 weeks. Due to some issues that we had in developing it, it will be another 2 weeks. I already said that to you so that you can plan adequately internally. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's not nice. It's not the best messages that we have to give over or have to present to the customer. But being honest, I think, is always pays off.
It's about transparency, it's about trust, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, I do have one more question, which
Mhm.
is I'm still really curious to know why you have a hate and love with NPS.
I think I think we touched base on it really quick at some point today, and it's about reliability. Yeah. So let's say, Byron, you had a very bad day.
Yeah.
A very bad day. It can be because of work, it can be because of our solution that you're working with, or it can be personally. Yeah, I mean, like, we're all humans. And then the survey comes in. Yeah. How likely are you to respond not objectively?
I will say hi.
Yeah. And then let's say, and I speak about experience. You're my client. We had a wonderful meeting. Yeah. We made super plans. And then this survey comes in. How likely are you to respond very positively?
A lot.
Yeah. And that all has happened. So it's very influenceable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we are all humans. So that's why I said, and this is why I like also the approach from Boa so much. It's only one part of a customer voice program. It's only one part. And what you do with it is, I think, the most important thing. Mm. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
But
but not only relying on it solely. Yeah. So, and of course, not any actions afterwards. Yeah.
customers have memory.
Yes. Data has memory also. Mhm.
Amazing. Just a second.
Mhm.
And this applies a lot with an article that I wrote, which is going to be in the description, and from Michael Lefauve in his book of in 1988, where his book name is How to Win Customers and Keep Them for Life, and it says that only 4% of dissatisfied customers raise a complaint. The other 96, they don't, right? And this is about the emotional part that you were talking about,
Mhm.
how it influenced that, and that's also why I'm saying memory, because if you do what all these steps that you recommended today and adapt it to your business model and your customers, I think that that will create that trust as well and influence
Mhm.
at the moment. At least that's what I think we could do.
Yeah, I also think maybe it has something what you just said with its 4% and 96%. Maybe it's also because, let's say we deal on a daily, weekly basis. Yeah. Maybe then it's also getting harder for you to give me bad feedback because you feel like, oh, I have already a relationship with Miriam. Yeah. So now giving her bad feedback is kind of tricky for me. Yeah. But maybe in that CSAT and NPS moment, it's differently because you're rating the company itself. It's not only stick to one person. So you also feel more encouraged to do so. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I do have to say that there are ways to influence, and based on the tips that you're given, there increases those possibilities.
Hmm.
Miriam, one last question, and I will let you
Oh,
go. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah. I'm just curious what going to be the last question. I think I have heard it before in some of your
Yeah,
podcasts.
well, now
So
I'm changing it. Now I'm changing it.
oh no, it's a new
Yeah,
one.
yeah. So if a customer success manager listening today wants to improve how they collect and act on feedback, what's the first thing they should do tomorrow?
Oh, that's difficult one. Yeah. Um That's a difficult one.
You have
Okay,
to give it
let's
a lot of
see.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, implementing and evolving a voice of the customer program. What does it really mean in your company? Yeah. So what is part of it? Yeah. What do we include in it? Yeah. So and where does then the instance live? Like I said, for example, CSET doesn't live in my department. Yeah. So it's from our support team. NPS is done by our team. What else do we do? Yeah. So really maybe having a process that's called the voice of the customer and then really nail down how do you live and breathe that in your company.
There's no better way to end up today's episode with your insights, with that one tip that we can implement starting tomorrow, which is basically stop and breathe and analyze around what
Mhm.
you have. And maybe there are tools that are already there. You don't have to implement new ones as well, right?
Exactly. I mean, like today with AI, etc. Yeah. So I think everything is possible. Yeah. So, and then if you're on LinkedIn, there's such a great community about customer success. So you can reach out to those people and get all the information. But I think this is really like having a process for your company. Yeah. The voice of the customer.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you so much for your time and all of the insights.
Thanks to you, Byron, for giving me the voice today. Yeah, it was really good being here with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And everyone listening, or if you are seeing us, or probably if both, remember, keep learning, keep growing, and let's keep improving the world of customer success. Until next time.
Next time, bye.